Good afternoon everyone, and welcome back to Piccadilly. Now, continuing with the station build, you might notice I've gone ahead and done one or two of the bits. Still not glued the front and the back together yet, but starting with the less obvious, put in a dividing ceiling here and another dividing wall. So you might remember me saying I was going to light that room just there, just that one, and leave all of this in darkness. So obviously had to pack that up, and that will then connect up against this wall there, so that will create one single room in there. Okay. Secondly, you'll notice I've gone ahead and put in the doorway. I built a porch and a step, and the door, I don't know whether you can pick that out, but made a panelled door in there by putting two pieces of card together and cutting out the panels on the top one, glue them together and then paint them both white, including the door frame. Also the windows on the extension piece just here in exactly the same way as I've done before, and an extra door there. There will be a wall running around the front of the building, and I thought, well, if there's a like a little yard there, people want to be able to get out into it, so it needed a door at that point. I couldn't see one on the pictures, but it definitely needed to be a door there. So hence, now all of those things I haven't showed you what I've done or how I've done those, because to be honest, it's pretty much a repeat of what I've already done before. So my next job now, I can finally go ahead and glue the front to the back, and then start thinking about the wall on the end here. Okay, speak to you soon. Okay then, right, so the building has now been glued together. That's all solid. I've put the wall in and the coping stones across the top, and I'm now ready to think about finishing this end. Now, if you remember, this wall here was similar to this one in the sense that you could see these two verticals down here. So what I've decided to do, even though I covered it in brick paper, I've got quite a lot of it anyway, I can soon print more if I need it, but is to put one piece across the whole thing, and then I can start thinking about the coins going down the side of the building. Now, just in case you're not sure what they are, it's this. If you imagine this as the edge of a building, and you can see the bricks coming around the outside, creating this sort of castle top. I can't think what they're, battlements type finish, but obviously that's vertical like that. Okay, so the way I'm going to do that is that I have prepared some brown on the edge of this piece of paper, and I've noticed that every single one of these coins takes up 3/4 of bricks. Now, in this scale, that's 3mm. So what I'm going to do is cut one piece that's going to go vertical, just to keep that nice and straight. And then, I know it's tedious, but then cut all the little pieces to put up the sides. Okay, I thought I'd show you the one I've just done, just there. Okay, and when you've put them all on, I just took a bead of glue on my finger and just run it up and down the corner, which would just seal down any that are standing up. Right, so there we go. That's taken about 20 minutes to half an hour to do all of those. You can see those fairly clearly. I'll try and bring the light in a bit better for you. There you go. Now, you'll notice I'll use this scalpel to point with this bit here on the top of the corner of the building. And the idea of that is that it helps to support the roof. I'm not totally sure how or why or but it does, and it's there. Now to do that, I cut a strip of 3mm card, and then at the end 2mm, I folded it then back on itself like that, if you get what I'm saying, glued it, and then scored down there with the scalpel, and then folded that back on itself again. So I ended up with, it's ever so tiny, but that. So we've got 3 thicknesses at this end, and then 1 thickness of card at that end, and then I cut a chamfer. Hopefully you can see that. Alright, just like that one is. Now, it's very important that when you do this, you get all these coins and other bits level, because if they're not, they're going to look a little bit on the silly side. So there we go. It is a bit difficult to show you on cam. So I'm just lining up across, looking at that way across the building to make sure that they're level, and then I need to take it in a bit to make sure that it's level that way. And actually on the station building, this one's much darker than this one. So my next job is to start thinking about the roofs. Now obviously there's 4 roofs to do, so there's 1, okay, and each piece is going to be made from a single rectangle with cutouts. So obviously this one will be standard 2 rectangles. This one will be obviously the rectangle plus that cutout there, and that one obviously with this cutout here. This is the most complicated because there's 3 cutouts, okay, and obviously very similar on the other side. So there'll be 8 pieces to cut out. Again, I'm not going to show you how to do that. I'm sure it's fairly straightforward and obvious, but it is fairly important. Looking at the building, the roof does come pretty much to the edge, so I will have a slight overlap because obviously I've got to fit gutters on this, and I do want some space to put the gutters, but they're not going to overlap very much down the sides. Okay, so I'll get on and get one of those done, and I'll show you once I've cut out one of the pieces. Right, so you can see there, that's just a rough fit of the roof, or one part of the roof, and these little cutouts on either end just to accommodate the different parts of the building. I've also got some printed downloadable slates, and what I'm going to do is cover both of these in one whole sheet, and then after that I'm then going to cut them into strips and then layer them one on top of the other. Okay, I'll get it covered and I'll show you how I do the strips. Right, there you are. You can see the roof is literally just roughly laid on the top. Now I was going to cut all these little strips and stick them on, but to be honest with you, these slate layers are barely a millimetre, and to go across all of the roofs, I tried it and I was literally going boss-eyed. I could barely see what I was doing, and the lines were all wonky, and you know, it just looked a mess. So I decided just to go back to the standard flat surface. But what I am going to do to compensate is to score with the scalpel, just very, very lightly over the top of each one. I'm using the blade up, just like that, just to give it a little bit of definition. In fact, what I think I'll do is just very lightly just go over it the other way, and that will just emphasize the line. I'm just literally going to just lightly score over the top. Now you probably can't even see that, to be honest, but in reality it does give a little bit of extra. You can just about make it out to some degree. I thought I'd show you. I've just scored that. You can make that out. But actually, there you are. Hopefully you can see that reflecting there. I mean, all this will be dulled down when I put the matte varnish on it, but obviously there's going to be paints, moss, algae and all sorts of growing on that roof, and like I said before, I want it to land in all these little grooves to give it some definition. Alright, anyway, like I said before, I'm going to get all the roofs done now and I'll speak to you. Right, so there we are so far. So as you can see now, all the roofs are on. And this, I'm not sure quite what you call it, but this sort of bracing, I don't know, or the edge of the walls anyway. And it sort of flicks up, if you notice, at each point here where you've got that little sticky out bit, each one needs to stick up. I've just got to touch up the edges with the grey pen, which I'll do in a bit. But also gone ahead and put in the flashing. Whether you can pick that out. You might just be able to see it slightly silver as it goes down the sides. It is quite bright here today. Yeah, I think you can just about see that there. The chimney pots as well. If you've ever built a Metcalfe kit, you'll know that you're given some grey board stuff, which, as you can see, I've stuck two pieces together, and then you mount that inside the skin, and then that is covered with the paper. Okay, obviously I haven't put the actual pots in themselves. I think I'll talk about those in another video, but you can see I've drilled out for them. And these ones here have obviously been removed in the past, these particular chimney pots. Now I can't, the holes might have been filled in, and I can't see any pictures to give me any indication. Google Maps is probably the best one, but I can't get close enough to find out, so I'm just going to have to guess that bit. But so all of those bits are in, and I've also done the dormer window just there. What else have I done? I think that's pretty much it. There's still quite a lot to do on this building, and you might be thinking, oh, there's that bit there as well. I'll turn that round. That little bit just at the top there, that sort of triangle-y bit. I think that's just some kind of I reluctantly say window, but I'm not sure quite what that was for. Yeah, like I said, there's still quite a bit to do. I've obviously got to put the chimney pots on the top there, and this is plastic coated wire, which I shall cut into smaller lengths, paint it the appropriate colour, and put that in the top. The chimney pots do have this like I don't know quite how you describe it really. It's like little, if you imagine a torch, you've got the bit that sticks out at the end, and it's sort of a bit like that at the top. So I've got to put that on, which shouldn't be difficult. I'm just going to use paper for that. There's obviously the drain pipes to go on down as well. There's wiring going around the side of the building just there, I believe. And just lots of little bits, posters to go on just here and inside here somewhere, probably just there's probably a poster there. And obviously the canopy, which needs to be put on as well. So there's just lots and lots of little bits. But I think I'm going to leave this video for that. So the next one, I'll obviously get all the rest of that done. I should be able to get it finished in the next video. And we'll take it from there. Oh, the guttering as well, don't forget that. So I hope you've enjoyed this video, and maybe you've picked up one or two tips from it, I don't know. But hopefully you have. And if you've liked it, please do like, subscribe and share. Do feel free to comment too. And I'll see you again in another video. Okay, take care then. Bye for now.